what is this cover? Frank and Joe are wearing costumes that they don't wear in the book, holding a woman who doesn't appear in the book, while fighting a villain who doesn't appear in the book. Yeah, none of this stuff is in the book. But the back cover is done like Harry Potter. That was neat.
Argo Font Book Review. Argo Font Book Review.
We start with the Hardy Boys on top of the Statue of Liberty, fighting some dog nappers. Don't ask why, because the book won't explain. The Hardys fall off the statue, but they avoid plummeting to their deaths by using a magnet rope. Number 1, magnets won't work here. The Statue of Liberty is made out of copper, which is not magnetic. Number 2, look at the picture. The Hardys just cracked the forehead of the Statue of Liberty. They are for sure getting in huge trouble for this. Afterwards, the Hardys go to a costume party, where Frank goes as Dick Tracy and Joe goes as Frank. Yeah, Joe is going as his brother. He worked out every detail so he can look exactly like Frank. It's creepy. That's when Nigel Penhurst appears. Oh, hello, new character who's never been mentioned before. We're going to pretend you've always been in this series? Gotcha! Nice seeing you again, Nigel! Nigel gives the Hardys their next assignment. Prevent an assassination plot against Sangita Singh, a hot teenager princess who's totally single and available, hint hint. I suspect she made up the assassination plot as an excuse to get Joe's attention. The assassination is set to take place at the Jekyll and Hyde restaurant, a spooky place with lots of special effects and hidden passageways. The Hardys gush over how amazing the restaurant is, and the book's verso says this is a real place, please visit it, here's their address and phone number. So this book is basically an advertisement for a restaurant in New York. Ugh. The Hardys meet Carl the handyman and 2 people who run the restaurant. DR is the owner in real life, so I'm pretty sure he's not the culprit. Finola is a hot chick who wears short skirts and tights for unexplained reasons. Of course, there are death sequences. The Hardys almost get crushed by the walls, and an employee named Omar almost falls to his death. Joe uses a rope that wasn't there before to swing across the room and save Omar. Montel, the angry security guard, says this place is too dangerous, and he tries to cancel the event, but Sangita insists that things will continue. Sangita goes off to a private spot with Joe so she can hold his hand and talk to him. And did I miss something here? Because they've never met each other before? Why is she going out of her way to get lovey-dovey with him? The romance is ruined when a pot of boiling water starts dumping hot water on their heads, but Joe saves them by using a table as an umbrella. Frank and Joe suspect Carl is the culprit. They go to confront him, only to find he's been murdered. This makes 4 books in a row where one of the suspects is murdered halfway through. I can officially confirm that the surprise murder is no longer an effective plot twist because it's not a surprise murder, it's a by-the-books attempt at creating suspense. A guy with a gun breaks into the restaurant and Frank fights with him. The customers figure this is some kind of dinner entertainment, so they laugh and cheer. The gunman is revealed to be a random pickpocket. The Hardys give the security guard some grief for letting an armed gunman inside. The guard escapes into a secret passageway. The Hardys give chase, and the passageway floods for some reason. They manage to escape, of course. The real culprit is revealed to be Omar, who tied Sangita to a table on a raised platform. How did no one notice this until just now? He prepares to electrocute her, but of course the Hardys save her. They chase Omar into a hidden passageway, only to find that he was captured by Mr. Hyde. As in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the book. Yeah, the Hardys were saved by a fictional character who didn't appear earlier in the story. It's supposed to be funny, but it feels more like a cop-out ending. The end. Post-book follow-up. I found a review of this book that says the book presents 4 suspects and picks one as the culprit out of a hat. That's harsh, but accurate. Like some other books in this series, the culprit could be anyone. Simply because none of the characters were developed, there's no good reason to suspect one person over another. Omar the culprit said 12 words before the culprit reveal, while Carl only showed up for 2 pages before he was killed. The book is clearly more interested in throwing the Hardys into death-defying situations than it is in giving us plot. That aside, I did like the budding romance between Joe and Sangita. Yeah, it came out of nowhere and it only lasted for 2 pages, but it was different! I like seeing more than just unconnected death scenes. The final thing I have to note is that this book has two new artists. You can tell the art changed, but it's still done in the faux manga style, which looks like it's done by people who aren't 100% familiar with manga. Overall, this isn't a good book. Some of the death scenes were interesting, and I could tell they were trying to be scary, but there's no story here. The book is a thinly veiled advertisement for a restaurant, and the Hardys are saved by a random deus ex machina. I didn't like it, and it feels like they're putting less and less effort into each successive book. I give Hardy Boys Undercover Brothers number 6, Hyde and Shriek, a 1 out of 10.